In a short while, we're going to talk to a man whose story of courage and determination we have been following very closely here on Breakfast.
Yes, Martin Hibbert and his teenage daughter Eve were both paralysed in the Manchester Arena bomb. That was in 2017. Since then, he has been working tirelessly to raise funds for people with spinal injuries, including, you'll probably remember this, that epic journey up Mount Kilimanjaro.
Now, last night, Martin received a prestigious award for those efforts. We'll have more on that shortly. But first, here's a reminder of his story, courtesy of the poet Tony Walsh.
From a single act of violence, and the 22 we lost, the hundreds, maybe thousands who still pay a daily cost. There comes choirs, there comes music, there comes campaigns, there comes stories, there come glades of light, and daily fights, and love in all its glory. There comes Martin in his wheelchair with just one thing on his mind, and dream, believe, achieve, he says. And onwards, forwards, climb, and with northern bloody mindedness. And crazy as this sounds, we'll raise hope, we'll raise awareness, we will raise £1 million. Those who saw him at his lowest, at the very gates of hell, those who stitched him back together, said, "You're mad." We'll climb as well. From a base camp on a bomb site, this is Wheelchair v Volcano. Yes, it's rough and yes, it's tough, but Martin's often heard to say, they'll climb for dignity, humanity, for all like me who say, believe in us achieving. We climb mountains every day, and over rock, and over rivers, and through heat and sheeting rain, and through blood and sweat and fears, and through sickness and through pain, over boulders, aching shoulders. Something holds us through the snow, something in us, deep within us. We dig in, and on we go. And he made it to the summit, and united with his mum, and he raised a flag to Manchester with, "Look, Mum, what I've done." And to those who would divide us, who'd spread hatred all around, this says love can conquer mountains, and it's never coming down. And it's strong, and it can catch us, it can lift us to the top. And Martin, he's just starting, and he's never gonna stop. From a single act of violence comes a simple act of love. We rise, we rise, we rise, we rise, we rise. We rise above.
Many thanks to Tony Walsh for that poem there. Martin's with us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Really good, thank you. Really good. Like, when I see that, it kind of takes me back and how tired I was and how knackered I was. But yeah, I'm fully recovered now, fully recharged, and yeah, back on the sofa.
Good to have you. Good to have you with us. Good to have you with us. I mean, we've been speaking to you really from the start, haven't we? And yesterday, tell us about last night.
Yeah, so we'd found out literally a few days before we were flying to Tanzania that Boris Johnson had seen us on BBC Breakfast, and I'd been nominated for one of his Points of Lights awards. So it was Boris Johnson that had nominated me. And obviously what had happened to him, that's obviously delayed things, and it's your local MP that gives it to you, and my local MP is Lindsay Hoyle, Speaker of the House of Commons. So I think diaries, and my diary as well, it's been really busy. So last night was the night that I got this prestigious award and a certificate and a lovely personalised letter from Boris.
We can see it.
OK, here we go. That's it. Big smiles, everybody. That's good.
Do one for Lindsay.
Martin, can I just say, on behalf of the Prime Minister, what a privilege it is and an honour to be able to present you with the Points of Life. And this is so important because I recognise just what you've done.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration to others. And I've got to say, it is with the greatest pleasure to be able to do this to somebody who's an absolute hero to everybody else.
Thank you.
And may you continue to inspire many more people in the future.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Does mean a lot, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think, like, to get, you know, for the Prime Minister to see you and to acknowledge what you're doing and to put that in words and to sign it, it does it, you know, because that'll be around forever. You know, when I'm old and grey, and you know, it just kind of reminds you just what you've done. And then he's put, you know, on behalf of everybody in the UK, thank you for what you're doing. You know, you're inspiring not just disabled people, but able-bodied people as well. And that's really important to me. You know, it's not just about, you know, changing people who've got spinal cord injuries, but it's changing perception on disability. So it's everybody. Everybody's involved. So to get that acknowledgement and to get that pat on the back is really nice.
This is so personal for you, and Eve as well, your daughter,
of course,
who was also badly injured.
Yes.
What can you share with us about her and how she's doing?
Yeah, well, obviously we try and keep Eve out of the media, but you know, I've spoke about, you know, the prognosis at the time when I was in hospital. You know, it didn't look very good. You know, they said that, you know, if she was going to survive, she probably won't be able to see, hear, speak. She won't have any memory. But she started college last week, you know, so she's going to college. And when she's ready to, you know, share her story with the world, she'll trump me, you know what I mean? She will inspire the world when she's ready.
You must be very proud.
Of course I am. It's, you know, you know, she was 14 at the time. She was injured. You know, her body was changing. She was becoming a woman. You know, which is hard enough. You know, so to have that and all the life-changing injuries that she's had. You know, she's seen all her friends, you know, graduate, go to university, start to drive, have relationships. You know, she probably won't get to do a lot of that. But every time I see her, she has a big smile on her face. She's a Hibbert. You know, she doesn't let anything get on top of her. And she defies, you know, she doesn't like being told by the medics what she can and what she cannot do. You know, she decides that, just like her dad.
You know what, Martin, if I have something I always remember about talking to you is that I don't know if it is your catchphrase, but it's I'm not having it. I think you used to say, I'm just not having it.
No.
And that was your initial reaction to when you realised how other people, including yourself, were being helped or not helped by the system that existed. I'm just not having it. And that has been your driver, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my mantra is dream, believe, achieve. And yeah, you know, I was really lucky. You know, I went to Salford Road, just round the corner. I went to the Spinal unit in Southport. And then I found out that not everybody with a spinal cord injury gets that help and support to live a fulfilled life, and that's what I'm not having, you know. So now I'm Vice President of the Spinal Injuries Association. You know, my job now is obviously to get to the £1 million. We're nearly there. We're
what are you up to now?
About 860 now, 860 grand, so we're about 140 short. But it's also raising awareness about, you know, what's not happening at the minute, and there's too many people with spinal cord injuries just being left and not living the fulfilled life. So that's what we want to change. You know, raising £1 million, you know, is really important, but actually what's important is, you know, changing perception on disability and changing the life of people with spinal cord injuries. And I've said a lot of times, you know, I've climbed a mountain, but what I need to do now is move mountains to get the changes in legislation.
You need to come up with a new line because you've used that. You've got to
also,
come up with...
you know, I was chewing to Lindsay's ear last night, and he's on board. He's going to help me get in front of the ministers who make the decisions, who write the cheques to, you know, to change lives. You know, we're going to do that. I'm really passionate, as you know.
You've been also quite open about when you are knocked, you know, when things do knock you. After that climb for Kilimanjaro, and, you know, and we've got this brilliant programme we're going to be showing. We'll talk about that in a sec. But after that, you were shattered.
Yeah.
And it not just physically shattered, that you can kind of get over.
Yeah.
But emotionally, and kind of, it was almost a point to take stock.
Yeah,
perhaps?
well, yeah, I didn't realise it, but, you know, I know I've reflected and I've had time to think about it. You know, the Martin's Mountain Project was almost 3 years of my life. You know, every time I woke up, it was Kilimanjaro, we've got to do this, we've got to raise the money, we've got to go and train. And then when I came back, I woke up, I didn't have this thing in my life anymore. And we did it. A few of the team members suffered, and there was a big come down from it. And because I'm not on any mental health medication now, I could feel myself going down a depression road. But I know the signs now. And I said to my wife, I said, like, we need to go away. You know, I'm in a dark place. So we ended up going away. But there was a real come down from it, and not having my team around me. You know, we used to train 3-4 times a week. So to not have that, there was a real... And I don't think any of the team were ready for that. Like I say, we had a rest. We had a nice holiday. We reflected on it. And, you know, we've taken stock. And it's now about, you know, hopefully getting in front of ministers and hopefully changing legislation and getting the right help and support for everybody.
Every time I see you on this sofa, I can't talk for Charlie, you charm the pants off me, you know, and I'm always inspired by you, and I think the energy you bring just to this room is incredible. When you are in front of ministers, I cannot see you not making a difference.
That's what I want.
Cannot see it.
You know, I said to Sir Lindsay last night, I've been waiting 18 months for this. You know, this is the start, and you know, he's going to help. You know, and that's what we need. You know, we've talked about it a lot now. We've talked about it for 2 years now. We've talked about, you know, what's not happening. We need to put that right now. You know, I'm kind of not sick of talking, you know, as my school reports concur. You know, I can talk forever. But it's now about, you know, talking to the right people and hopefully changing things. That's what I'm passionate about now.
So if you want to see how Martin got up that great lump that's just behind him, just on his left shoulder there now, you can find out more because Martin's mountain conquering Kilimanjaro, made by the team here at BBC Breakfast, is on the iPlayer. So if you get the chance, lovely to see you again.
Thank you. Lovely to see you as well, as always.